Namaste and good morning. We'll start our class with the prayers. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we'll chant Mahamrityunjaya mantra 3 times. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrutyurmukshiyamamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrutyurmukshiyamamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrutyurmukshiyamamrutat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome everyone. So today we'll start our class number 14. And today we'll have two Krut Pratyaya. So Krut Pratyaya, when a word comes in the end of the Krut Pratyaya, that is called Krudanta. So two words with Krut Pratyaya. If you remember in the one of the previous classes, we did the Krut Pratyaya, and that was gerunds and infinitive, tumun and twa. So these are also Krut Pratyayas. So we did these two. These are also participles. And similarly, what we will do today is also another participle. Not all Krudanta. Krudanta means the word in which Krut suffix is coming in the end. Not all such words are participles, but today's word is participle. And in the today's class as well as next two classes, we'll study some very important participle words. So today we'll study present active participle and future active participle. So participle, if you remember, I explained that day that a word formed from a verb and used as an adjective or a noun. That is the general definition of a participle. So in English, the examples are going, gone, being, been, like working woman, burned toast. Similarly in Sanskrit. So we already saw those two participle, twa and tumun, and today we'll see another two participle. Vartamane krudanta. Vartamana means in the present tense. So this particular word, this particular participle would be used in the place of present tense. That doesn't mean that we can get rid of present tense. It's just that it conveys the same meaning as the present tense would convey. And we'll see how. So today they are from both roots, Parasmaipadi and Atmanepadi. Today we'll study the Parasmaipadi. So from the Parasmaipadi root. So we'll see a little bit more detail. What is it? So the suffix is called Shatru. Shatru Pratyaya. That is the name of the suffix. And it is the one, so I told you earlier classes also, when Panini defines a suffix, generally there are some letters which are other than the suffix. So like in twa or tumun, if you remember, so this was the twa and tum, but it is tumun. That was the participle there, but tumun, only tum remains. In dictionary, if you find, you will be actually seeing the whole word, not just the at. So if in dictionary when you see, it will be shatru, not at. So just from that perspective, please be aware. This suffix is only from Parasmaipadi roots. The way you make the form of this suffix is by adding the at instead of anti. So third person plural of a word. So if you make, for example, gam dhatu, gachanti, that is the third person plural of gam. Gachanti. So all you have to do is you remove this anti and replace it by at. So this anti, you will make it at. Gachat. So gachat becomes the participle. That's how. So it's very simple to make this participle form. Third person plural, instead of anti, you will replace it by at. What does gachanti means? They go. What does gachat mean? Going. So gachat simply means going. So somebody going, it becomes the adjective of that person, and we'll see how is it used in a sentence. But it becomes an adjective to the person who is going. So if I say going Rama, Rama who is going, I can say gachat Rama. This word gachat, it's a pratipadika. It's not a verb. All the participles are nominals. When I say Pratipadika means it's a nominal. And that's why it's a declined. Decline means it will take the forms of 7/3 table. So that's how it is declined. So gachat, he who is going, it's a masculine word ending in at. So if you remember, we did already something like jagat or marut ending in takara. This noun marut is a single stem noun. That means all these forms, there are no strong or weak forms. And if you remember that we went through the table kind of logic, the original su, aujas, outshas, and it is very easy to generate these forms. Now, this word is also ending in takara, gachat, but there is slight difference from marut kind of declensions. The difference is that it is a two stem. So the first 5, they are made differently. The other forms are exactly the same as you will make for marut. But first 5 is a little different. And you can see clearly gachan. It becomes gachan, gachantau, gachantaha. For marut, it is marut, marutau, marutaha. And marutam, marutau, marutaha. If you look at here, gachan, gachantau, gachantaha. Gachantam, gachantau, gachataha. So the second person plural, second case plural is okay. It is thus exactly the same as jagat, marut. But the first 5 are different. So sometimes it is called a two-stem declension. This is just a classification for the ease, but I told you earlier also that there are potentially 3 stem possible. One is first five words, then vowel initial and consonant initial. So here it is only the 2 stem. Only the first 5 words are different. Others are exactly the same as marut. And the sambodhana, the vocative case, is also same as first case. So there is no difference between vocative case and the first case. So that's how the declensions go. Pretty straightforward. Gachat, if you take the same thing in neuter, so that which is going, that means a neuter thing which is going. Then the only difference is in these 4 forms. Gachanti, gachat, gachanti, gachanti, gachat, gachanti, gachanti. And all other forms are exactly the same as masculine forms. When it is related to the feminine, things become a little easier because the feminine participle is made by gachanti. The base word itself is ikaranta. Like gachat, when you make a masculine, is feminine for this, it becomes gachanti. So then it becomes ikaranta, and we have already studied these endings, ikaranta endings of the, like nari, ikaranta. So then those declensions would be exactly like this declension, nari. There will be no difference, no two stems or anything. So gachanti would be declined exactly the same as nari or other like nadi, nari. So we have already studied those. So gachanti becomes straightforward. So it's only in gachat plural, masculine and neuter, you have to remember these first 5 words are different. And here in the neuter, these 4. There is another twist here in these words, in this Shatru Pratyaya words, for the 6th conjugation roots. So if you remember, we studied earlier the conjugations of the verbs, different classes. So I'm not sure which class we studied those. Let me see. Here it is. That we studied in class number 5. So we studied these conjugations. And the 6th conjugation verbs, roots, tud, we say tudadi, like vish, vishati. So 6th conjugation roots, there is an additional rule. What is the additional rule here? Additional rule is that for the gachat, it is gachanti. But for tudat, tud, it can be either, so gachat, the feminine form becomes gachanti, that is the feminine form. If I take a word, if I take a root, say, of 6th conjugation or 6th class, so for example, tud, tud means to strike, to beat. We have already studied this root. So for tud, if I make, first I'll see the 3rd person plural. So 3rd person plural will be tudanti. And if I have to make the participle, the present participle from there, then it would be tudat. Tudat means be striking. So somebody is striking. That is masculine. If I have to make feminine here, as per the rule we studied earlier, it would be tudanti. But there is an optional form here also. In feminine, we have an optional form tudati. That is also permissible. So you can make two ways this optional form for the 6th conjugation root. So this is sixth conjugation, sixth class root. So for the sixth class roots, we have these optional two forms in feminine. Tudanti is okay, as well as Tudati is also okay. For the same class root, sixth class root, if you look at here, the neuter dual form and the feminine stem, they are identical. Gachanti, gachanti. Here and here, both of them, as well as the feminine stem, feminine base word, they are identical. In when we have the optional form for feminine, this also will take the optional form. So for Tudat, here the neuter dual will also have two forms, Tudati or Tudanti. So just like we have optional form for feminine stem, we also have the same option available for neuter dual, only for the sixth class roots. There is also a future participle. Future participle, exactly in the same way, you can make it by, so for Gachanti, you will have Gamishyati or Gamishyanti. So here also you can actually make Gamishyat. So you can take the same logic here. Anti will be replaced by At, and you can have Gamishyat. So Gamishyat means will be going. Again, it's not a verb, it's an adjective. So somebody who will be going, that's what it means. And as far as the declensions are concerned, they are exactly the same way as Gachat. There is no difference. And as I said, that they are generally used as an adjective, these participles. So we'll see some of the usages. How are they used? So see, look at these sentences. I'll just let you read for a minute these 9 sentences. And you see what difference do you find in different sentences. So if you look at, for example, this sentence, very simple sentence, Rama sees a fruit. If I have to make a Sanskrit of it, it's very straightforward. Ramaha phalam pashyati. Rama sees a fruit. Rama phalam pashyati. Now if I say Rama sees a fruit which is falling. So Rama sees a fruit which is falling. Maybe falling from the tree or whatever, but it's not mentioned here. Just says Rama sees a fruit which is falling. So how will you make this sentence? You will have Rama phalam pashyati. How will it change? So you will say the fruit which is falling, yat phalam patati. Patati is for the falling. Yat phalam patati, Ramaha tat phalam pashyati. Tat phalam. So here also we can say yat phalam. Yat phalam patati, Ramaha tat phalam pashyati. So the fruit which is falling, Rama sees that fruit. Then Rama sees a falling fruit. Now you see the same sentence has been just put it in as a participle. So here there are two sentences. One is yat phalam patati, like this is one sentence. As you know, patati is a verb form. And Ramaha tat phalam pashyati or Ramaha tat pashyati. We can even also say Ramaha tat pashyati. Yat phalam patati, Ramaha tat pashyati. It's a neuter word, phalam. That's why yat and tat are neuter. Now here, instead of using two sentences, I can use a participle, this present participle. So this part of the sentence I can use with the participle. So how will I do that then? This sentence, patat patati, the participle form would be patat, because you know gacchati, gachatah, gacchanti, it becomes gacchat. So patanti, it becomes patat. So then I can here make the sentence Ramaha patatam patantam phalam pashyati. Where is this patantam word is coming from? Here. You see gacchat, the accusative singular is gacchantam. So patat, patantam, because phalam is in the accusative case, this is being the adjective, will also be in the accusative case. So therefore, patantam phalam, the fruit which falling fruit Rama is seeing. So that's how you use this participle. So Ramaha patantam phalam pashyati. So let me just see the questions before we go forward, and you can ask any questions. So we'll see other sentences, but let me first take the questions. Okay, so question is gacchanti is third person plural, but gacchat is not plural. So gacchanti is a verb form. Gacchanti is a verb form, and therefore it is plural, third person plural, but gacchat is not neither singular nor plural. It is just a base word. So when you make gacchat, it is a base word, it's a nominal. So it's a nominal, and then you decline it based upon whether you want to use singular form, dual form, or plural form. You will use this way. But what you are making here is the base word. You are not making singular, dual or plural. This is just a way to make, I just told you sort of a trick to make the participle from the third person plural form. If you go originally by Panini, then just like it will start from the root gum and you will add this suffix called at and you will come up with this form. You will not derive like from Gacchanti. But since this is like a shortcut, you can say, since we are not studying Panini rules in original, this is more like a shortcut that you can make a participle from this. But that's not how the concept is. Concept is you will start with the root, put the suffix and come up with this form. Okay, there is a comment here for Gachat neuter, the Devanagari does not match the IEST. Let me check. So Gachat, is that where you are saying? Here it is matching fine. Michelle, can you please clarify where you are seeing that Devanagari doesn't match the IEST? Which particular place? Okay, so there is a comment here. Please check dual and plural neuter because you are saying something different from what we see. Paulo Baba, can you please clarify this part? I'm not very clear on this. Dual and plural of which gender? Is it masculine, neuter, or feminine? Which one? And which case? So please clarify. The question here is optional form of Tudati is only for feminine, not for masculine. That's correct. It's only for masculine as well as the neuter dual. Neuter nominative and accusative dual. These two. So these two also will have the optional form, but it's not for the masculine or other parts of the neuter. Only for the feminine stem, because in feminine the stem itself can change, so all the other forms will naturally change. So I just want to inform you one thing, that Zoom apparently has changed its rules. They have come up with a newer version. You can install the newer client version of Zoom, and they have also made it mandatory to either have a waiting room or a password. So we have to probably redo our meeting next time and create a password. We will send you the meeting information, but just want to let you know that you please check the email. We'll send both by email as well as WhatsApp, but we have to have a new meeting generated with the password and that will be sent to you. I just want to let you know. So please do, if you have saved this meeting ID already, please make sure that you update it for the next time. This today it's okay. Okay, there is a question here. Pranam Swamiji, if you form a sentence, she will be going, where is the verb then? Which is falling is the action of the fruit. Okay, so I hope that question is answered, Dyanama. If you have more questions, then please feel free to ask. Okay, so there is a question here that because I'm using the patantam, so here the phalam is neuter and I'm using the patantam, but it should be neuter here like gachat, patat. So that is correct. Thank you for correcting this part. I think more than one person has pointed this out. So it should be patat because it is the neuter. It's the neuter. So patat, not patantam. patat, because in neuter it is gachat. So this is patat, accusative. Even though we are taking the second case, accusative case, it is patat. So patat phalam pashyati. I'm happy that you are paying attention. So there is a question here, neuter and masculine base word is the same, gachat and gachat. The only one that changes is feminine. That's correct. The base, even though the base word in neuter and masculine is the same, the declensions are different in these four forms and the here five. So only the nominative and accusative, the declensions are different. But masculine, the feminine, the base word itself changes. So keep that in mind. In masculine and neuter, base word is takaranta, ending in consonant. But in feminine, the base word is ending in ikaranta. So it's a vowel ending. It becomes a vowel ending nominal. So it completely changes the declensions. But here they are very similar, masculine and neuter. Just the nominative and accusative cases are different. Okay, so here is the correction required. Somebody said gachanti and I have said gachantau. This is the copy and paste problem. So I'll correct it. Gachanti, gachanti. Thank you. So this is corrected. Gachanti, gachanti. So there is a question here, why did you use the plural gachanti instead of gachati? So that is for making the stem. The question is when we are making the stem here. So I could have said gachati and changed the ati by at. So then also we could have made gachat. Remember, this is just a shortcut way of making it. Originally, if you were to make, you will not use the either gachanti or gachati. You will use from, gum, and apply the suffix. But why do I not then, even for shortcut, why do I not use gachati and then say from there just remove the ikara in the end and make it gachat? It seems simple. So for the most verbs which we have studied, that will work. But for some verbs, it will not work. So I'll give you the example of like kurvanti. So kurvanti would become kurvat, doing. But if I take the singular karoti, then I cannot make it kurvat. So the singular, if you remember, it's a krudhatu, and the singular form, third person singular form is karoti. From karoti, I cannot make it will become karot if I use that logic. But actual word is kurvat. So that's why we take the third person plural, so that you don't have to switch. For some roots use singular form, for some roots use plural form. You can universally use the third person plural form. Same thing with the for the same reason I have also taken the future third person. So in future case, incidentally, the singular form will work fine of all the roots. But to keep a consistency between the present and future, I use the plural. But if I say here Gamishyati, then I can just say remove the ikara, this thing, and that will work. So in future, you can actually have this logic for future participle. Just remove this and you will have the participle form. So it will be okay. But not in the present, not in the present participle. Present participle, you should take the third person plural form only. So there is a question, do all verbs follow this declension rule of earth? Are there any exceptions? So I just explained that. So hopefully that should be clear. So these were all the questions. And with this, we'll see the other sentences. So look at the other sentences and see what difference do you feel from the ones we have covered so far. So if you look at the sentence number 4, Rama sees a fallen fruit, not falling fruit. So this is the past participle, not a present participle. And we will study past participle in another class. But I just wanted to show you the difference. Like falling fruit. So present participle tells you the action which is in the progressing. So it's in the process. It hasn't completed. While in the past participle when we use, that means action is already completed. So here the fruit is falling and when Rama sees it. Here the fruit is fallen, the action is completed, action of falling, and Rama sees that fruit. So it's a present participle mean the action is in the happening. It has not completed. There you use the present participle. So it is more akin to, you can say, the continuous verb used in the Portuguese and Spanish rather than in English. Where the action is, it's in the middle. Action is like there. It's happening. It has not been completed yet. It shows the progressive aspect of the action, the present participle. So we will not make past participle form. I just wanted to show you the difference past and present participle. We'll do it in another class. Now this one you look at. Rama sees a fruit which will fall. So here if I make the Sanskrit translation, Yat Phalam Patishyati, the fruit which will fall. Ramaha Tat Pashyati. So you have to see here the Rama is seeing something which will fall. So it's a future participle. No, I mean here it's a verb. It's a future verb. There are two different verb forms. But when I make a part now, if I make the same sentence as a participle sentence, how will I make this sentence as a participle sentence? So exactly the same way as I made the present sentence. So I will say Ramaha patishyat phalam pashyati. So you see the base word would be patishyat here, like just like gamishyat. So it will be patishyat, and in the neuter patishyat patishyat. That's how it will go. So Rama will seize a fruit which will fall. Rama patishyat phalam pashyati. So even though you see this verb here, because every now this is one Sanskrit sentence. Here it is two Sanskrit sentence. There are two verb forms, patishyati and pashyati. Here it is single sentence, one sentence in Sanskrit. So patishyat is a adjective now. It's no longer a verb, and pashyati is the verb. Seeing is the verb. So verb here is in the present tense, even though the participle is the future participle. So verb could be either past, present, or future, and participle could be also past, present, or future. They could be independent of each other. Like you could say Rama saw a fruit which will fall, like just like in English. So remember, there is no connection particularly that this has to match this or vice versa. This could be either we can use present, past, or future participle with any of the verb forms, either past, present, or future. Now you see Rama sees the falling fruits. So here when we say Rama sees a falling fruit, here I am saying Rama sees the falling fruits. So the fruits now is in plural. So this thing also will become plural. Gachanti patanti. So how will you do it? Ramaha patanti falani pashyati. Now pay the attention to this. It can seem like confusing because patanti can also be the third person singular verb form, and it can also be the, like gachanti here, it can also be the second person or first person plural of the participle. How would you know given sentence what is this? From the context. Just like in English, fallen can be participle used for the fruit as well as it can be used where there is a helping verb. Same way here, you can have the patanti form, and context will tell you whether it is participle or it's a verb form. Now here it's kind of even further confusing because we are using neuter. So falani patanti. So you could potentially make it two sentences. You can say fruits are falling, Rama sees. But then they two become independent sentences. There is no connection. If you make it two sentences, it does not say Rama sees the falling fruits. It will be Rama sees, fruits are falling. They are two completely independent sentences will become. So this kind of flexibility, or you can say ability to convey multiple meanings, gives poets a lot of joy, and they use these kind of structures quite a bit. But in the general texts, when you study, or even in the scriptures, most of the times the context will tell you very clearly whether it is a verb form or a participle form. Now look at this sentence. Rama saw the fruits falling from the tree. So here Ramaha Falani. So let us just make the form Ramaha Falani Apashyam. Ramaha saw the fruits. Rama saw the fruits falling from the tree. So falling is coming from here. Patanti. So falling will come from here. So we can say patanti. Now falling from the tree. So vrukshat patanti. So we have to from the tree. It is the fifth case for the tree. For the tree is the vruksha. So it would be vrukshat. So Rama vrukshat patanti falani apashyam. So that's how you will make the sentence here. Rama vrukshat patanti falani apashyam. Now look at this sentence. Give the fruit to Rama who is going. So basically somebody is asking that please give a fruit to Rama. Somebody is asking someone that you give the fruit to Rama who is going. Now here you look at give the fruit, that is a lot lakara. The command sentence with the command. So lot lakara, if you remember, the form would be second person singular would be gacha, and for giving we have the root called yam or da becomes yacha. So give the fruit would be yacha. Yacha phalam. So phalam yacha. To whom? Rama who is going. So Rama who is going, that is for Rama. So when we give something to somebody, we use the fourth case. So if you know pretty clearly, I hope, that Rama Ramaya, the fourth case singular. That's what will be used here. Fourth case singular for Rama. So Ramaya phalam yacha. Ramaya phalam yacha. And now Ramaya who is going, that is the participle here, and because this is an adjective for Rama, that also will become in the fourth case singular. So gacchate, fourth case singular, dative singular is gacchate. Gacchate Ramaya. So gacchate Ramaya phalam yacha. Gacchate Ramaya phalam yacha. That's what it would mean. That give the fruit to Rama who is going. So we can use the participle form. So participle can be, because it is used as an adjective, you always have to see which noun it is qualifying and make sure that it matches the gender, case and number of that noun. Now you see, take the fruit from going Rama. So Rama who is going, you take the fruit from him. So yacha is for giving, and for taking, if you use ayacha, then it becomes taking. So I can use yacha, you take, and then so phalam ayacha, take the fruit from Rama. So that is the fifth case. So fifth case, you remember, no, Ramat, that is the fifth case. So Ramat phalam ayacha, and this thing is, we have to use now the one who is going is gacchataha, fifth case singular, gacchataha. So we have to say gacchataha Ramat phalam ayacha. Gacchataha Ramat phalam ayacha. Take the fruit from going Rama. In English, we normally don't say like that. We'll say from Rama who is going, but I just wanted to tell you that that's how it will be. In almost every case where you are making a sentence using present participle, you can also make by using yat and tat combination, like using two sentences. So most in every case, present participle will make the sentence look a little bit smaller and beautiful also. And it will convey the idea that the action is actually in the progress. That is the main difference between the yat and tat construction as well and the participle construction. So looks like there are a lot of questions. Let me take the questions. Saw is the third person, apashyat. Okay, so yes, that's correct. Rama apashyat. Thank you for correcting. I used the first person, so it's apashyat. I used the pashyam, which is the for the eye, like I saw, but Rama saw, that is apashyat. That's correct. Thank you. So I'm happy that many people are noticing, and that shows that you are really studying, and that's a very good thing. So there is a question, when we use apashyam versus drishyati. So apashyat is a past tense and apashyam is first person. Drishyanti is the present tense. No translation of who is number 8. So this is the sentence here, give the fruits to Rama who is going. So the person is asking, we have not translated who is, because I use the participle way to translate. I can also make the yat-tat sentence. Then you will say, if you have to make it yat-tat sentence, so you will say yaha either you can say yaha gacchati or yaha Ramaha gacchati. So Rama who is going, tasmai, the fourth case singular of tat, tasmai phalam yacha. So you can make it like yat-tat way also. As you can see, the sentence is more elegant and smaller when you use the participle. So Drushyanti and Drukshanti, somebody is asking. Drukshanti is the future tense form and Drushyati is in the present tense form. So there is a question, Yacha means give, Ayacha means take. Yes, that's true. Yacha means give and Ayacha means take. Just like in gum also, I mean, this is not universal by the way, but in some cases that happens. So in Gacha also, in the verb form, Agacha, when you put A, it becomes come. So gum means to go, Agacha means please come, Gacha means please go. So similar logic applies to this Yach form also. Okay, with this, we'll have the class work. So this is our class work for today. So you can study these pages from Sanskrit Subodhini. So today what we covered is from lesson 20 or from Sanskrit Subodhini. You can send your questions through the chat window and you can try to translate these sentences. For the forms of the participle, you can refer to the lesson 20, page 165 and 166 from the book. So these exercise, as you see, these are two sentences from the home exercise. So if you translate, and I'll cover them after the class, you will get an idea that how to do the exercises, the home exercises also. So with this, we'll meet at 10:15. It's a 13-minute break. Okay, thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I'm just responding to one of the questions. If you have any questions you found during this exercise, or please feel free to send it to us. So if I use this translation to for translating this sentence, so this one, if you look at, Balau is in singular, say dual, Tau is dual, Patantau is the adjective for them, so that is also dual. Patantau means falling, those two boys falling. Jale means in the water, seventh case singular. Dukkham anubhavatam. Anubhavatam is the verb here, it is also dual. So agachatam, this is with the prefix, with the upasarga prefix anu. So the dhatu is bhu, becomes abhavatam, agachatam, abhavatam, and with the prefix anu, it becomes anbhavatam. That means experienced. So two for boys falling in the water experienced sorrow. Now, if you look at yat tat construction, so regarding yat tat construction, I told you that generally you can make the sentences with yat tat, like Rama sees a fruit which is falling. So yat phalam patati Rama tat pashyati. In some cases, it makes a one-to-one matching very easily. In some cases, the one-to-one matching is not very clear, or it's not elegant at all. So like this one, give the fruit to Rama who is going. So if I say Yah Rama gacchati tasmai phalam yacha, even though this sentence can be made and it's grammatically correct, there's slight problem there. The problem is this: Yaha, this pronoun, is a indefinite pronoun, one who, like we don't know who. So it is like a indefinite pronoun kind of thing. And Rama, when we say Rama, Rama is, we are telling a particular person, it's a name. So you combine the indefinite and definite pronoun, it's possible, it's not wrong in Sanskrit. In fact, you can say Yaha gacchati tasmai Ramaya phalam yacha. That's also okay. But more frequent is like this kind of form rather than combining this way. So in some cases you will find during this exercise, when you do the homework, that yat tat construction kind of seems a little bit not so elegant, but it can be made. So here it's an indefinite part anyway, so here it's easy to make. So how will you make here? Yau balau jale, and then the second dual, the plural dual form, lat lakara. So gacchataha patataha, yau balau jale patataha. Tau dukkham anubhavatam. That's how you will make. Now if you look at this sentence, tam parvatam prati dhavatah ashwan aham pashyami. So if you look at the verb here, that is pashyami, aham is the subject, that is the karta. So I see. Ashwan, that is the second case plural, like Raman, Ashwan, Raman, Ashwan. So second case plural. So I see the horses. Now what is dhawataha? So if you know the participle, gacchataha, dhawataha. So it's also a second person plural. So that tells you that Ashwan dhawataha, that is the adjective for Ashwan. So running horses. And then tam parvatam prati, running towards the mountain. So I see the horses running towards the mountain. And again, if you have to make yatta here, so yaha ashwan parvatam prati dhav, yaha. So you, how will you say? So you will make this as a sentence with the verb. So you will say ye ashwaha parvatam prati dhavanti. So ye ashwaha parvatam prati dhavanti, because ashwa is the plural here. So that's why we have to use the plural, and ye also becomes plural. That is yat, yau, ye. This one, yaha, yau, ye. Yaha, yau, ye. So first person plural. So ye ashwaha parvatam prati dhavanti. Now ashwan will become tan, because I'm referring to them yattad. So tan, because tan is the so sahatau te tam tau tan. So tan. So tan is the second case plural. So ye ashwa parvatam prati dhavanti tan aham pashyami. Then aham pashyami is okay. Same. So that's how you will make. Ye ashwaha parvatam prati dhavanti tan aham pashyami. Now another part of the home exercise is to convert the following sentence. He has taken some sentences from lesson 12, exercise 1, to present participle constructions. You may need to adjust the meaning a little bit. So if you look at the simple sentence here, yada ashwaha trunam khadanti tadate pushyanti. When the horses eat the grass, they are nourished. Now, naturally, you cannot make present participle construction from this, because this is not yattad. So we convert them into yattad. How do first you convert them into yattad sentence? So how will you convert into yattad? So instead of yada, you will use the form of yat. So ashwaha is a plural, so you will use ye. You will use ye, the plural form. So you will say here, ye ashwaha trinam khadanti. Then tada, te is already here for the tat, so we don't have to put tat here. So te pushyanti. So now the meaning will be the horses who eat the grass, they get nourished. And now you can make it in the easily in the participle form. So how do you make the participle form now? Participle form you will make khadanti. So this is so this who is eating is the ashwa, the horses are eating. Ashwa is the masculine. So we have to use the masculine participle. Masculine participle is gachantaha, that is khadantaha. So we'll say trunam khadantaha ashwaha pushyanti. The grass eating, if I have to translate into in English, you will be basically saying horses eating grass are nourished. Or eating grass, horses are nourished. We can even put in English, probably that might look a little better. So just see whatever makes sense in English to put in English. Eating grass, horses are nourished. So that way you have to see, you have to change the structure of the sentence a little bit in this exercise. Similarly here, yada dasah kanakam chorayati tada nrupah dasam tudati. When the servant steals the gold, the king beats the servant. So again you will convert into yattat. So yaha dasaha. So we will change it to, so yada, instead of yada we can say yaha dasaha kanakam chorayati tam nrupaha tam dasam tudati. And once it is in this format, then you can easily convert into the participle form. How will you convert the participle form? Kanakam chorayan dasa. So look at the main sentence. Main sentence is nrupaha tudati. That is the correlative clause, the main clause. So dasam is coming here in the accusative case. So we will have to use the accusative case. So if I take this sentence here, so we'll say nrupaha, instead of tam, we will say kanakam chorayantam dasam. So kanakam chorayantam dasam tudati. Nrupaha kanakam chorayantam dasam tudati. The king punishes the servant stealing gold. Or generally in English, because the participle is not always the most preferred way to write, sometimes you may have to say servant who is stealing gold, who steals the gold. So in English you may have to say, but in Sanskrit this kind of construction is perfectly valid and preferable in many ways instead of this construction. So let me see if there are any questions. So the question here is tam parvatam, is that mountain or the mountain? So I explained to you in earlier cases also. So tam here is normally you would use that mountain, but because it is not coming with any context, we use is the mountain. So normally in order to say that mountain should be described earlier, because here is no description. It's not like a story continuing, it is just an independent sentence. That's why we just say the mountain. In exercise 2, sentence 2, should the translation to English also use the participle form? Yes, try to see whatever makes more sense in English. You can use the participle form, that is fine, but in some cases the participle form may not be the most desirable way to write English sentence. Okay, if there are no more questions, I'll just show you some Gita examples and then we'll conclude the class. So this kind of constructions are common, though not very frequent in Sanskrit literature, the present participles. but still they are quite common. In Gita, for example, here, this is one verse where 2 times participle is used. Tamuvacha Hrishikeshah Prahasanniva Bharata Senayorubhayor Madhye Vishidantamidam Vachaha. So Prahasan Iva, Prahasan, laughing. So that's how it is coming, like Gachan, Prahasan. It is in the first case. So as if, Iva means as if smiling or as if laughing. Vishidantam, that is describing Arjuna. It is in the second case. So that is also the second case. The second case singular. Gachantam, Vishidantam. So that means he is still lamenting. That is like that action. He is in the middle of that action. He is in the middle of that depression or grieve or pain, Arjuna. So that's why it's used the present participle. Then here in the 246, Brahmanasya Vijanatah. So if you look at the sixth case singular, it is Gachatah. So here the V is the prefix, Gya is the root, it becomes Vijanatah. And it is the adjective of Brahmanasya. It is the sixth case singular, like Ramasya, Brahmanasya. So Vijanatha is the adjective for Brahmanasya, sixth case singular. So of the Brahmin who is knowing. Now this is a very interesting verse regarding this participle. And if you don't have the knowledge of this participle, you cannot understand this verse. You see this whole sentence, it is just one word. So is this. So looks like a pretty intimidating sentence, how to make sense of it. But if you know the participle forms, you can actually split them. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shoshan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Grunanan, Unmishan, Nimishan. This is just a series of nominative singular of the present participle. Gachan. Similarly, this is just a series of the words in the present participle form. That means while seeing, while hearing, while touching, while smelling, while eating, while going, while sleeping, while breathing, while crying, while excreting, while taking in, while blinking. Among all these actions, the one who is a realized person, he understands that he does not do anything. All these actions are just happening. So this is a very interesting verse, and it is just a series of present participle nominative singular forms are used. So with this, we'll close the session. You please do the exercise, home exercise. The home exercise has a lot of sentences, and if you find difficult to do them all, just take a few, like maybe do 10 sentences. If you are not comfortable doing, if you don't have the time to do everything. So just see whatever you can do. I'll show you the exercise 237. It is there from the lesson 20 from Sanskrit Subodhini. So Tapasyananji, as always, has created this exercise in a very table format, so that you don't have to worry too much about it and putting the format, etc. And I'll put the, you can use the solution from this exercise, first two sentences are solved in our class exercise. So you can use that for solving this exercise. So I solved these first two sentences for both the exercise. So with this, we'll conclude the class with the prayers. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone.